Welcome back, you hear Goldberg. Today I'll be talking about the red pill philosophy and some of the underlying problems I see with it. I should note the basic axioms and principles related to dating or marriage are in balance less than harmful to young men. However, when we come to the red pill as a body of influence, an echo chamber, intractable, hard-headed, unwilling to confront any information that would disrupt their cute little diorama, where you've got the conservative bald cell with a beard versus the blue-haired feminist harpy, that whole enterprise certainly has the capacity to draw many a young soul down paths of self-destruction if they spend too many years of their lives wrapped up in the crimson corridors. And so that's what I want to break down in this video segment. Now, it's probably fitting that in the United States, where we are heavily addicted to pharmaceutical products, truth would always come wrapped up in a pill. And as I've said, it should be a metaphor, a placeholder for the truth, not an ideology, not an addiction, although for many red pillers it is. So just for awareness, let's consider what they mean by red pill versus blue pill in the dating market. So the blue pillar is the guy who thinks he has his heart in the right place.
If I just get a good job and I'm a nice guy, then my dream girl's gonna come down from the mountain, we're gonna be married, uninterrupted bliss for 70 years, and we're gonna see each other again in heaven.
Right. And the red pillar says,
No, you have to understand hypogamy and feminism and female nature.
Which is interesting. They make all these benchmarks using evolution, but then they'll claim that female nature is unchanging and static throughout time, space, and insanity. I just think that's kind of amusing. But at any rate, because women are trying to manipulate men towards their own ends, financially, socially, emotionally, sexually, you have to turn the tables on them by learning game, and then you can have them wrapped around your finger. So, in fact, men will be in control. Or really, it's an illusion of control. Like this one POA said to me, I pointed out, you're a very tall, above average looking white dude, and he was saying, no, it's not that matters to get women, it's my emotional manipulation tactics. Okay. Well, let me just book drop here. And some of you don't want to read this book. Just an advisory. It'll be too much. You'll get angry. You'll hate me for the rest of your life. However, its importance. Yuval Noah Harari is fast becoming one of my favorite modern intellectuals because he's not a total neoliberal shill. Very different from Thomas Friedman or Fareed Zakaria. They're capable of always, toe the line. Harari is brutal. And if you read this book, it's going to fracture the foundations of your faith, of your national identity, pretty much everything. To be fair, he's brutal towards the Care Bears. His whole section, he just roasts their conception of being the chosen people and we're so important in world history. So that is kind of fascinating, but more to the point, he has a section on red pill versus blue pill, where he brings up something you don't always hear, and that is that the Wachowski brothers, or I guess you should say sisters, never really implied whether the red pill was actually the ultimate truth. It was a nice dichotomy, it fits in the American psyche, but it isn't exactly clear. If you think about it, Keanu Reeves in the blue pill, he had a boring office job, but that world was not paradise. Because if it was absolute, wonderland, who would want to wake up? He's got the kind of obnoxious employment. There's still conflicts. There are troubles in the blue pill world. But so you take the red pill, and now you've woken up, and you have to learn martial arts and use weapons to fight Agent Smith and the albino twins with dreadlocks, and the Frenchmen, and in the Path of Neo game, there were like cartoon ants you had to whack with a candlestick for some reason. I guess they ran out of ortho, and or raid. And then at the end, you had the huge Agent Smith made up of little Agent Smiths. That was kind of goofy. In other words, that was not really a perfect world. It wasn't enlightenment, it was a struggle. And so if we consider that in the context of the red pill, and they say, oh yeah, now men are red pilled, we're in control. But are you really? Because we know that the female intelligence is far more developed, especially on the emotional side, than the male is. So in most cases, when you think you're in control of the situation, it's actually, as one black pillar noted, You think you're a player? You are playing her game. Most guys don't realize this. They think, oh, if I just do this red pill stuff. And in fact, all that being suave and being red pilled is actually, this is what the research says, it is linked to where you're trying to reduce her anxiety towards where she can become aroused. But she's still going for the better quality males. So this is the hardcore truth that people don't want to come across. And hell, maybe the black pill is also a matrix or a new simulation to a great extent. I've always said, take some of the data and learn from it and move on. Don't feel like you have an allegiance to a particular point of view. So even the book I'm writing, it may have black pill in the title, but it's not like to defend the black pill and No, it's just, let's see what the information says and how we can glean from it and better understand our existence. Turning back, of course, to this question of how much control you have, it was none other than Neil Strauss, who was pretty much the forefather of pickup besides perhaps Ross Jeffries. He's a bold cell. Also, Alan Roger Currycell, another bold cell. They've been doing this a long time. Both of them in their books admit you cannot take a woman who has no physical attraction towards you and just use game to make her like you. And that's pretty brutal because a lot of the modern red pill guys, they try to, dress it up as though, yeah, just do this stuff and it'll all work out. As long as you lift weights and be conservative and vote for Trump, all the women are going to want you. Not sure about that. In fact, I think it was Francis. Granted, I don't believe Francis is really right-wing per se, but his book in one section says, be authentic. Just use your own personality. That'll be your advantage. So you don't have to, one-size-fits-all game. But then a little bit later on, he's saying you have to fake it till you make it, pretend you know how to get women. It's like, well, isn't that kind of contradictory? If I have to just be myself, well, if a dude is being themselves and they're not really getting many women, he has to fake it, but how is he still being authentic? So, I don't know. A lot of unanswered questions, I suppose. And the reason why so few men actually have control is that, given how dating is today, the only real leverage a man possesses is to say no and I'm walking away. The problem is women have all these options and men have comparatively few if you're in the Western world. So if you lose that relationship, let alone a marriage, it's going to be very hard to rebound unless you're an exceptionally good looking guy. So this is where the so-called control men have. You still got to drive, yet you want to say, but you don't really have the option to just go out to do something else. This abundance mindset nonsense. And again, it's where it's trying to make people believe they have control. Kind of like MGTOWs will say they're going their own way when a lot of women didn't even know they existed. Or other examples of that. A woman saying they're strong and independent. Okay, you want to preempt it. Now let's have an arm wrestle and see who's actually strong. But people want to have this psychological framing to avoid the harsh truth. And in point, we have this from 21 Studios, which it seems every red pill and MGTOW channel now is just uploading TikTok clips and whining about how women behave. Or the other thing I think is funny is these younger guys going, I mean, you say you want equality, but you don't really want to be equal. Exactly. Why would they give up the power they have? If you possess a superior position, why would you just relinquish it because you want to, I'm pretending to be equal? It's like a Haitian or Granadan nationalist lecturing the United States on how we're co-equals. You have to respect us. It's like, yeah, we can, or we can just squash you like a bug. That's the difference. But I say this because I think the red pill is actually setting up many a young man, as I said, for potential destruction. Here we go. Philip, 6356. A gorgeous wife cooking delicious food for me is literally all I want. This was beautiful to watch. It's making me think about giving dating another chance. Women like this actually exist? WTF? You see, has anyone considered, because you look at this montage and it's like the girl takes her boyfriend out for a date, or this one guy is like, oh damn, you got a booty, and that's considered a king moment. Or another thing, being a king. It's just another way of trying to project this image you want to have for yourself, like the black women saying they're queens. But is there anything behind that? Are you really a king surrounded by beautiful women? No, you're not. You're just trying to make yourself feel better. It's framing, nothing else. It's a motivation, self-improvement tactic, I suppose. But you look at this clip and the one chick's going,
and so first I assembled vegetables, and then the little granola bar, and then I take the chicken salad, and I mix it up with all the different spices, and I take it, and I shove it up his ass,
and, great. Hopefully you have a wonderful relationship. I don't know how long they've been married. I'm not a MGTOW doomer. Like, I can't wait till you get divorced. The fact that you have to virtue signal that online is telling. The fact that the 21 studios, Red Pill, this, that, the other, are promoting it, you ask, are they not simply giving a manual for women who could take advantage of men? Because a genuinely conservative, traditional woman, this is just normal. This is not something you have to broadcast to the world. The fact that you're doing that is a little bit questionable in of itself. And it's why I believe, again, a lot of these dudes, they don't even know what they're getting themselves into. Here's another example, Rouge V Forum, Filipino long distance. I've been chatting with this 23-year-old Filipina for a couple months now. I'm starting to believe this girl may have wifey qualities. She's religious, virgin, sweet/affectionate, can cook, and is content, whatever that means. You see how, by the way, that forum, ever since it went into the radical Christian category, they're basically, you see a lot of posts of this nature, guys who just are so desperate to chase after that, probably, whether it's ever existed, that 1950s submissive housewife they all want. And you can tell how the religious influence is causing them to stop necessarily seeing the same problems. It's just like, you'll see some dudes who are religious and they're like, well, I'm going to marry this single mom with 3 kids because at least she's redeemed herself. Maybe she's actually been widowed, or maybe she was just a lot of these girls, they just sleep around too much. Who knows? Now, thankfully, some people are calling it out, but this is the type of guy. Look at that. She can cook. American men are not used to that because cooking is not a skill for women. It's like a hobby that some might pursue. Others are going to be, let's go to Chick-fil-A. The moment they come across a woman who's slightly feminine, they're done. I mean, they're on their knees. What can I do for you today? Be the steady Eddie. And to be honest with you, a lot of chicks are going to start seeing this and go, how can I snag one of these guys? I just got to wear a nice dress, cover up my tattoos, make some food. And he's just going to be like, oh, wow, I'm so blessed. God has sent me this virtuous woman. I'm like, hopefully, I wish you the best. I'm not mocking you, but it is definitely called in question, because if the fact that a woman cooks for you, that alone is making you already have weak knees. It just reminds me of that song, The way you look tonight, cook that hamburger helper just why, that did it. Got me simping. They dress up a little bit and it's over. There was a chick, and she was trying to do this towards me, by the way, yet at least she was honest. She said, if a woman likes a man enough, she will be feminine submissive. You think these girls who date NBA players, you think they don't act submissive and feminine, at least to start? Yes, because it's the whole mating dance. She has to project something. Michelle Langley, she had a good book on infidelity, where she was saying a lot of what you see girls doing, like feminine, submissive, this stuff, to a certain degree it's scientific, they have a maternal instinct, but a lot of that is really just a marketing tactic. It's a way to get the guy in the relationship or the marriage. Look at all the things I'll do for you. But that doesn't mean she's giving up her independence or that she's going to know, I just want to be submissive the rest of my life. It's a way of reeling a man in. So you might find a decent one, and if that's good, fantastic. But don't put the blinders on just because you're so desperate and you're in this red pill mentality, which is really just a simulation. You think, oh, as soon as I find a traditional woman, that means that it's sent by God or whatever. Exercise extreme caution, because I'm telling you right now, you can very easily be had. I've known other people that it's occurred to them, or it's been in their life. Don't be a fool. because you can lose a lot emotionally, financially, mentally when you make that decision.